Hello, everybody. It's been a long ass time. It has been a month since I've shown up on YouTube, and I don't know what happened. I had a great lock in happen in the middle, and then suddenly I just stopped making content, all in all, because of incredible loss. I hadn't anticipated this loss, and I'm going to kind of talk you through what it means to deal with grief. Yeah, and I have to go shower, and the only thing that's motivating me to go shower is this video. So come do my pre-shower skincare with me, I guess. Okay, skincare, hair care, whatever. Alright, so let me walk you back to what happened exactly. I lost my grandfather recently. And although it's nobody's right to tell me how to process that grief, I feel like sometimes we assume that, bro, like your grandfather is gonna go or your grandparents are gonna leave. You're going to witness their loss in this life. It's very understood by everyone. Like, I remember even in school when I lost my dadu, I wanted to write my college essay on how much that shaped me and how much that grief affected me. But my counselors told me that is just super generic, which to me is like so weird because grief is so individual to everybody. But let me paint you a picture of how close I was to both my Nani and Nanu. My mom was working from the day I was born, alright? Like, she had her old career and her job to take care of, and my dad was working, and so my Nani raised my siblings and I up until we were 15. We would wake up in the morning, go to school, come back to her house, straight to her house, go to tuition, go to our classes, go back to Nani house, and our mom would pick us up at 7:38 and we would sleep at 9. So the amount of parenting that I have received from my parents is comparatively very minimal in terms of what my grandparents gave me. This is such a hard video, guys. Oh my god. And like everybody in my life kind of knows how close I was to both of them. I'm बोलने वाली थी. How close I was to both of them, and it just kind of sucks that this loss is not spoken about enough. So I'm gonna do the honors of speaking about it. Fuck, it's been a month. I need to relax. Okay, so 3 years ago, I lost my nanny to a super long, prolonged brain stroke recovery, and I lost her to cardiac arrest, and that completely shattered me. I actually dropped out of college because of that. I know it might seem like a really minuscule thing to affect your entire college trajectory, but I was in a whole other continent and I couldn't come back for her funeral, which is what made me realize that this is not the life I aspire to have. No amount of money, no amount of opportunity, no amount of community there can give me the same fulfillment that being with my grandparents or being around them or just a flight away that won't break my bank would. So I decided to leave college, and it also was a lot to do with the racism, the lack of job opportunity, all of that. And I came back. And the only person who fully supported my decision once he found out about it was my Nanu. He was so on board with the fact that, okay, cool, like I believe in you, I trust in you, I know you can do everything that you want to do. He was my best friend. I don't feel like I still have an adult in my life that I could talk to as openly and with as much transparency as I could to my grandfather. I think he understood my craziness. Like, he loved whatever was wrong with me. And I just feel like that kind of liberation coming from someone who is not just one generation but two generations above mine is something that most of us could only hope for. Like, he understood every decision I made, even when my parents didn't, even when the rest of the world didn't. He didn't necessarily know what I did for a living, but he was there at every step of the way, making sure that I had everything I need in terms of love and support. He never made me feel judged, or he never made me feel too much or too loud or too crazy, which I often feel in a lot of rooms. Fuck, I was supposed to do my hair. I need water. Alright. Now that I have some water and some fresh air, I think I can continue this video a little bit better. Fuck. I would meet my Nanu every Sunday, and now I don't know what to do on like Sundays. So that's what grief does to you. I just feel like it makes you really come face to face with your priorities. Here's what I've learned by losing pretty much my solid ground that I used to walk on. Everything that I've built started from there. So, alright. The first thing is, they say that time heals everything. Time does not heal some losses. Time makes it easier for you to live with them, to live with the lack, but you will always feel that lack, and that is just the risk you take when you love someone like that. When you wake up in the morning, some days it's going to be sitting right next to you, the big giant grief, and it will feel like a 50 fucking kg dog is sitting on your chest, and that's just the reality of it. When you're in the thick of it, it feels like it never gets better. It does. I have dealt with it once, which is why this blow was doubly hard. You would assume it would be easier, but it was doubly hard because now I have neither of them. So it will never get easier. It just gets better. It just gets less daunting to live with them as you live with them. It's like you build proof of concept in your head that I can live without them. Doesn't mean that living without them sucks any less. Sometimes I still wake up at 3 a.m. thinking about calling my nanny or texting my nanny something or sending her a photo of me, and I can't. Number 2, it will make you realize a lot about your boundaries as a person. How much are you willing to give to another person to see a relationship through? How much love are you willing to pour into another person? More importantly, you will realize, are XYZ people pouring enough love into me? Am I feeling seen by them? Am I feeling heard by them? Am I feeling loved by them? Am I feeling cherished? Am I feeling wanted? Am I feeling supported? Am I feeling seen? Am I feeling heard? All these things come into perspective when you lose a love like that. When you have grief that is this massive, every relationship in your life becomes a question mark. And those that stand the test of time and sit with you through this grief make it, and those that can't just don't. A lot of times we feel like we have to message the person who's going through grief, saying things like, my condolences to you and I'm sending you big hugs and whatever. None of that matters. You just want to feel less guilty for not saying that to the other person. You are not actively present. You don't ask them if they need anything. You don't ask them how they're doing 5 days after the funeral. So I just feel like half-assed relationships really stop making any sense to you because you realize that you have much bigger fish to fry in life. You realize that you only have limited time on this planet. You would rather give it to people who sit with you through something as insurmountable and daunting as grief. Number 3, as someone who's the happy-go-lucky person in every room, as someone who's the jester in most relationships and who can lighten the room, I have a tattoo that is completely redundant to my personality right now, which says, remember to be eternal sunshine. But I realize and now that eternal sunshine will burn you at the end of the day. If you ever try to be that person that has it all together for everyone at all times, even if it seems like nothing to them, that your mood is regulated and you're making them feel happy and upbeat and heard and everything is completely fine and this is life, it is so funny and all of that shit, it gets so irritating after a point to do that, and you do it still because it's just something you've built out of habit. You do it resentfully, but you do it still. And the people in your life stop seeing that even if they're sharing the grief with you, they stop seeing how much of it you're holding on to. So this is just a fair warning to everybody who has a person like me in their life who can switch their mood around to make yours better. Please remember to check on them twice. I have never fumbled so much during a video because you really don't know how they're doing. You really don't know what their brain space is looking like right now because they have nobody that can cheer them up. I am lucky that I have a few people in my life who look after me like that, but it is really difficult to do it all by yourself. In the face of grief, amidst grief, you will realize how shallow some people's POV on it is. First of all, there are so many rituals in the religion that my family follows. I don't necessarily agree with them. I don't like being a part of them. This is the first time I saw it so up close and it has shaken me to the core because you see how surface level some people are. They care about food and how you will reach from location A to location B, and they'll ask you to pass them hot rotis when you have just come back from a funeral. And then they say respect your elders. I lost the best elder in my life. I do not respect the ones that are here anymore. Fuck you and fuck this shit. You know what I mean? I feel like don't let anybody tell you that your anger is invalid or the way you are feeling your grief is invalid. Whether you are the kind of person like me who likes distracting themselves and keeping themselves busy and likes to process my feelings at my own time by myself with just a poo by my side, most likely. Do not let anybody tell you that this way of dealing with it is not acceptable, or you are bringing shame to the family name, or somehow you are abandoning your family. Don't let any Tom, Dick and Harry tell you how to process what you've been holding on to. It's redundant because They are not there at night when you cry yourself to sleep. They are not there at night when you remember the times you spent with that XYZ person when they were sick or when they were completely fine. They are not there at night when you're left questioning why what happened. So please don't let anybody tell you that your grief is invalid, your pain is too much, and the way you're handling it is not appropriate. I think that is the most fucked up thing we do as a society. Number 5, when you lose someone, you realize how petty your problems so far have been. And this is not me belittling your whole life's journey. This is not me saying that when you got kicked out of your job, that was a small thing. This is me reminding you, you come face to face with mortality. You come face to face with the fact that, fuck, I am not here forever. Whether you are 24 or 12, that fact remains valid. You are not here forever. And you realize that you might have been living life by everyone else's preconceived notions of what life should actually look like. You might be someone who is frustrated at traffic or really upset about the fact that your coffee is spilled one day or one video you made didn't perform well. None of these things faze you anymore because you have just realized and awakened this inner knowing within yourself that, why am I here? And if I am here, is it not my responsibility to myself to make sure I make it count? Why am I living by someone else's terms? Am I just here to be a daughter, a friend, a wife, a mother, a girlfriend? What am I here to do? What do I want to do? What do I like? What are my passions? Who do I want to become? And you will be okay with pissing people off, and you will be okay with letting them down, and you will be okay with whatever little you have collected to your name because it's yours and you did it because you wanted to. Khalas. Number 6, I can't believe I have to say this, but in the world that we live in right now, especially my world, and something I have literally learned just by the very nature of the job I do, I never talk about all this, I never care about any of this because I've heard that it's supposed to be a part and parcel of the reality that I have built for myself, just by the way, of being moderately famous, just being liked by a very few, a select number of people, that it is okay for people to talk trash about me behind my back on the internet. Do you know me? Is the question I want to ask you. Do you know my story? Do you know where I come from? Do you know how hard it was for me to build this? You don't. And I'm not saying that you have to, or that fuck the have to. I'm not even saying you deserve to know me. I'm just saying that have compassion for people whether or not you know them. It's just that simple. When I found out about my Nanu passing away, a few days after that loss, I had the pleasure of reading a Reddit thread about me that spoke about how I abandoned my dog and let her die, and how I'm a horrible, irresponsible human for doing so. Guys, I loved my dog more than most of you will love your children when you grow up. With the kind of inherent hatred you have towards people, I loved my dog more than you will love your children. Point number 1. Point number 2. Did what happened to her shake me to my core? Abso-fucking-lutely. Did I lose my mind? Abso-fucking-lutely. Did I know that it's going to happen to her? No. We did what was best for our dog given the circumstances and the cards we were dealt. We were not equipped to take care of her. For 2 months when we were working here, we sent her to Apurva's farm, not on some fucking streets in Delhi fending for herself. She was very well taken care of. You wanna know what happened to Elaichi? Here's the whole truth. During the India-Pakistan war, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, shelling occurred near the border where Apurva's farm is. One of the things fell on the cabin that Elaichi was staying in. Yes, she passed away because of that. So did many other animals. Could I have helped that? No. I don't know why y'all think it's appropriate for you to cook up these very elaborate stories about who I am and where I come from, but I don't have the bandwidth for it right now. So point number 6, just have some fucking compassion for people in your life. You don't know their whole story. You watch me on Instagram, you laugh, you scroll. Keep it at that, right? Keep it at that. Let's not get too up close and personal with me if you don't like me. Stand back, babes. I'm so happy I got that off my chest. Anyway, alright, it's face mask time now. After all that bakwas we have done about Elu for no reason. A few words of advice if you are dealing with grief. My toolkit and how I survive. Surround yourself with people who see you for who you are, not people you mask with, not people you have in your life for the sole purpose of you entertaining them. Just surround yourself with people who are able to hold you through ugly, snotty tears and panic attacks in the middle of the night. Number 2, it is okay to not get anything done right now. Contrary to popular belief, and something I struggled with last time I dealt with this loss. It is okay if you are not productive. It is okay if you don't want to do your work for a while. It is okay if everything seems like a daunting task. I, for one, did not brush my teeth for 7 days. Did it kill me? No. Was it gross? Yes, but so is death. So I don't know what we will do with all this information. Another thing that really helped me with death: watch good stuff, watch happy things, listen to happier music. Please, 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 please don't engage with people who bring you down. Uh, that was a big mistake I did. Number 4, do not reach out to any of your exes or people from your past in the hopes of them healing this for you or holding it out for you. Number 5, if you have to deal with it alone, I'm sorry you have to deal with it alone. I'm really, really sorry. It is extremely uncomfortable. I want to send you a hug. I have no advice. I don't know how you're doing it. You are so fucking brave and so fucking strong. So if this video helped you in any way, shape, or form, I'm really grateful because I know it helped me. I feel like a weight is off my shoulders now that I've spoken to you guys about the 2 most important people in my life who are not with us anymore, unfortunately. But I am part them. That's enough for me. Thank you so much for helping me become, and I hope I help you become. Until next time.